Hi guys, so this is part 3 of the chapter on infectious diseases in humans. So let's begin, okay? For this video, I will be talking about two unique case studies of viruses and bacterial infection, namely influenza, which is caused by the virus, and of course pneumococcal disease, which is caused by bacteria. Okay, so let's begin. Let's talk about the two objectives from the syllabus. You must learn how to state the signs and the symptoms of influenza and pneumococcal. Okay, so I have mentioned just now, influenza is caused by a virus and pneumococcal is caused by a bacteria. You must describe the transmission, okay, how they are being transmitted from one individual to another, and you must also describe the methods to reduce the transmission. So this video is actually pretty much like a COVID lesson, okay? Because later on when you realize, right, you realize that actually it's pretty similar, but also please do not get complacent and mix up the two, okay? So let's start with influenza. Influenza is caused by the influenza virus. There are many different types. Okay, this is the disease, right, that's particularly attacks the respiratory system. All right, so not other system. They will primarily attack the respiratory system first, but they might lead to complications such as pneumonia, which is also respiratory system but in the lungs, and it can also lead to ear infections and maybe even to the brain infection. Okay, transmission modes, of course, through airborne transmission, droplets in the air. Okay, so again, I'm highlighting the word droplets. Please be careful. Uh, Not just airborne transmission, it is through contact with surfaces contaminated with the virus, followed by, of course, the transferring to the contact with the body. So in the body, right, there are three that you have to take note, which is mouth, eyes, and the nose. Okay, it's best to write all these three, of course. So what are the signs and symptoms? I believe everyone has flu before, so generally you should know what are the signs and symptoms of flu. But you must also learn how to separate the signs to the symptoms, okay? Which is right at the start of the chapter. So I have given to you, I have shown you this, but these signs and symptoms, I believe is good enough. So it's up to you to learn how to differentiate between a sign and a symptom. So what are the methods to reduce transmission? Okay, number one, go for a vaccination. All right, this is like I said, this is like a COVID lesson. So yeah, I believe you know what is vaccination. Okay, avoid close contact with the infected person. Increase the proximity distance. Okay, wear a surgical mask to cover the mouth and the nose. I think it is good to write this too. Okay, just to cover all areas. When you cough or when you sneeze, please sneeze into an object like a tissue paper. When you wash your hands, right, please wash them with soap or disinfectant. Please do not just write washing of hands, okay? You have to wash your hand with something, right, to kill the pathogen. So soap, disinfectant, or you can use hand sanitizers. Uh, when you are you when I don't know, when you think that you have touched something, so avoid touching your eyes, your nose, and your mouth with your hands, of course. Okay. And lastly, take antiviral drugs. All right. This is not the same as vaccination. Vaccination is through injection or oral. But there are drugs that you can take from the mouth, and these are known as antiviral drugs. So let's move on to pneumococcal disease. Okay, now the word pneumococcal, right, actually comes from the bacteria Streptococcus pneumoniae. Okay, so you must learn this particular strain of bacteria because it's part of the syllabus. And this bacteria will cause infectious disease, right, known as pneumococcal diseases. Okay, now pneumococcal diseases, right, can affect many parts of the body, in fact, everywhere. All right, so I have highlighted all as many as possible. So I think it is good enough to know all this. The modes of transmission, mainly through respiratory secretions, okay, such as airborne transmission, saliva, mucus, pretty much the same as influenza. However, you can also contact pneumococcal diseases through food and water ingestion. Okay, when you eat something wrong or when you drink something that is not clean, you might get it. Alright, and this is the same as for flu, contact with surfaces contaminated with bacteria, followed by contact with body, which again I highlighted the mouth, the eye, and the nose. Signs and symptoms are actually pretty much the same: fever, headache, vomiting, cough, chest pains, rapid breathing, and more. Okay, I've given you 6. I think it's good enough. Now, how do you reduce transmission of pneumococcal diseases? For pneumococcal diseases, right, you can also go for a vaccination, okay, but it is not the flu vaccination because bacteria and viruses, they are not the same structurally. Okay, so we call this pneumococcal vaccination. Yes, you can go for them. And the preventive measures, right, you can just refer to the slides on the influenza. Okay, there is yeah, it's actually pretty much the same. But lastly, instead of antiviral drugs, because pneumococcal is a bacterial-borne disease, so you have to take antibiotics. Okay, so do not confuse antibiotics to antiviral. They work differently. They sound alike, but their mode of action is totally not the same. Okay, so yeah, that's it. This is what I want to cover for part 3. All right, thank you. Bye bye.